Welcome back to Gate City Insider. Love music? Love Greensboro? You need to hear this.
The Culture Pushers and the United Way of Greater Greensboro present Artists United to End Poverty. Great music for a great cause, featuring Vanessa Ferguson, Bishop Brian Pierce, the Mount Zion Gospel Choir, the Hamiltons, Mayor Nancy Vaughn, John P. Key, Laura Lynn Dossett, Shelby J., and many more. Download now on Amazon and iTunes. All proceeds go to the United Way of Greater Greensboro to support their initiative to end local poverty.
Let's end local poverty through the power of music.
Andre O'Hurd is better known as Fanatic. He's here with us, a culture pusher and producer of Artists United to End Poverty.
Well,
welcome.
Glad to be here.
So glad to have you here. Okay, so what is the Culture Pushers?
Culture Pushers is a nonprofit that we created here in Greensboro to cater to underserved music artists here. It's so much talent here, and they just need help in areas of mentorship and just really navigating through the music business. They're great at creating content, but they need some other help with getting to the next level of their career. So that's what we try to provide for them.
I want to know how this partnership came about with the United Way and Culture Pushers.
Well, I grew up knowing the United Way. They were huge in the community growing up. And so now with so many other foundations and organizations around, it was like important that this next generation understand how instrumental the United Way is with helping with social issues that affect the community. So I wanted to do a music project. I had always dreamed about doing something of this magnitude. It's like one of those Quincy Jones "We Are the World" moments.
Right, yeah.
And the United Way was interested in reshaping and reimagining their brand, so they were very open to exploring music and the power of music.
So Michael said, he came to talk to you, and he had kind of a small idea, and then you came with a big idea, and that just blew him away. And I think that spark, that firework really doesn't often happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's they're very open and very creative with trying to implement their initiatives, and music was something that Michael is a big fan of, and he witnessed the "We Are the World" moment, which was an iconic moment in popular culture. So he got the vision immediately and was very open to speaking with Michelle over at the United Way about implementing this thing.
Okay, so tell us about the artist who contributed.
Oh my gosh, it's so many artists. It started off as just a small project at GTCC. They were gracious enough to let us start the project there and record in their studios with Thomas Johnson and the students there, engineering and being a part of the whole creative process. But we ended up, so many artists, once word got out after that first week of recording, so many artists came to us, and it just, started to grow. And so we ended up, at the end of the day, a year later, with 52 artists on the album. Wow. And Greensboro, just being out in New York and LA, I would always see amazing artists from this area on The Voice and American Idol in the final round. So I knew there was something special going on here. And there was just so many great artists. So we got all the elite artists in the area to be a part of this, and all of them, they really wanted to be a part of using their music for a greater cause.
It sounds to me like you didn't have to do any convincing. They almost had to convince you to be a part of it.
It was a lot of that going on, and there were so many artists that came towards the end of the project that we weren't able to get on there, but the 52 artists on there are some amazing artists of all genres, all demographics. It's an amazing album. It's like I've worked with a lot of amazing artists, but this was like my greatest gifted in terms of music, what I've been able to do.
Well, that speaks a lot, because you have worked with a lot of amazing artists. So Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Notorious B.I.G., just to name a few. I know it could go on and on. You have lived all over, but you've come back to Greensboro to make it your home. Why?
Well, after being in the music business for so long, at some point, purpose starts to become more important than the accolades and financial gain and things like that. And being able to do it in your hometown meant a lot to me, because I had been trying to create movements in New York and LA, and then I realized that you need the support of your community in order to make something happen on a grand scale like that. And so that's why I came home, and I just think it's a great time for Greensboro, because we seem to be in this progressive space of trying to evolve and introduce new ideas in the community. And this is an example of that.
How do you think music really goes hand in hand with community building and partnership? I mean, how can music facilitate that, specifically here in Greensboro?
Well, music is something that breaks all barriers. You know, it's not relegated to a age group or an economic group. It's something that penetrates everything. And if you look at the past with Bob Marley to John Lennon to Jimi Hendrix to Prince, everybody has used music in the past to address social issues in the community. And so I think in 2019, with all the craziness going on in the world, this is a great time to use music as a tool to try to address some of those needs.
Well, and ending poverty. I mean, that's a huge goal
Yes.
that United Way has set out
Yeah.
to. And so to be a part of that, I mean, what's that like for you?
It's great because I look at this city, you know, living in New York and LA, you see poverty at a mass level. So when I came home and I saw it, I was like, this is not something that we can't overcome. So let's use music to do that. There's almost 300,000 people in the city, and I thought, what if everybody donated $8.99 to end poverty? Because we think of the donation as such a huge thing.
Right.
Most people think it's hundreds of dollars, but if everybody in the city donated $8.99 to end poverty here, we could really put a dent in it and really have a really big impact with it.
And so, of course, that's exactly what you're doing with the
Yeah,
album, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's holiday season is really upon us. What a great gift that
Yes,
would be.
it would be a great gift. Buy the album. It's available still on Amazon. It's available on iTunes, not Apple Music, iTunes.
That's all right. That's all right.
And you can find it, and it'd be a great gift. And it's great music on the album, but at the same time, you're donating to a great cause that will help your city and your community.
It's a get and give.
Yes,
I mean, you get
definitely.
something really
It's a win-win.
fantastic. It's a total win. And do you see, you said some more artists wanted to be involved
Yeah.
and didn't get a sequel. Do we
Yeah.
have something else coming up maybe in the future?
I mean, I would definitely be open to it because I've seen the impact and the excitement that we've created in the city. There's a lot of optimism about the music community here. And just really being an example how we can use music to address social needs in the city. Hopefully this will spill over and we'll continue to do this in the community.
When you kind of look to the future, Greensboro, music, you know, changing economics and poverty and situations for people, what are kind of some of your hopes and dreams for this city?
I'm hoping that this can become a music hub because so many people, there's so much talent here where the greatest musicians come from the church, and this is a community that is immersed in spirituality here, and I just hope that people will gravitate to come here to be a part of that, and I hope that the people that we nurture here, the next generation that we nurture here in the music scene, they stay here versus going to New York and LA to pursue a career in music. So hopefully this album will be something that will create industry here and make them feel welcome to stay here.
Yeah, and I think that kind of resonates to all
Yeah.
industries.
Yes.
I mean, we want to grow
Yes.
great students, great people, great workers, and we
Yeah.
want them to stay.
Yeah,
many
because
of them.
we have so many universities here, and it's like we're grooming them. So why not keep our greatest product here?
The best and brightest,
yes,
right?
Definitely.
Hey, how did you get started in music?
Oh, I started at the Weaver Education Center, and I took electronic music there. I went on to the Art Institute of Atlanta, and then just starting an independent record label here in Greensboro, and being one of the first ones to get our records played in New York City at a time when they were very segregated about playing outside of their city.
Yeah, how did you do that?
They just loved the material, and we were just working at a higher level than most outside of New York City. So they embraced us, and from there, just playing 6 Degrees of Separation, going back and forth to New York City, we were able to work with a lot of really great artists.
So what's next for Fanatic other than this partnership with United Way? Can you
well-
give some insight on what you're working on?
Well, I'm definitely in the artist space now. Working on this project gave me a whole new energy and creative space where I can create here in Greensboro without the distractions of New York and LA. So I'm working on a solo record called Billy Lennox, and I put a band together, and we're in the studio now recording. So should be out in the next couple of weeks, so look forward to that.
That's pretty fast turnaround.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome. And any other local folks that we should watch?
Yes, there's so many amazing artists that were on the album that are doing things here in the community, from Shelby J to Vanessa Ferguson, Jay Timber, the Hamiltones, Reverend Brian Pierce. just Josh King and Companion. What really blew me away when I came back here is a lot of the artists are at a very high level in terms of their talent. And I've never noticed that before, but the way the music business has shifted, a lot of artists are now working on their laptops at home creating music. And before, you had to have money to go into the studio. So now they're working on their laptops, they're getting in that repetition, and they're becoming really great artists. So I'm seeing so much talent here in Greensboro. So don't be surprised if you see some of these artists that are on this album out on the national scene doing really big things.
We can't wait
Yes.
to see that happen, actually. You know, the United Way, one of those videos we watched of the success stories was all about mentorship.
Yes.
And I mean, you just talking like this, you're speaking, you know, you're speaking to a lot of young people out there who have these big dreams of
Yes.
superstardom or YouTube fame or
can
whatever
happen.
it is.
It can very well happen. I'm a product of that. Vanessa Ferguson is a product of that. Shelby J went on to work with Prince. The Hamiltons have been nominated for Grammys. Reverend Brian Pierce charted. So it's very, very possible now for artists in this small community to reach a very high level of success in the music business. So we just want to keep giving hope. We want to keep pushing artists and mentoring them and giving them insight and information to get to the next level.
We want to raise this city up,
Yes.
and we want people to say,
Yes.
Greensboro, I want to go there.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, it's a happening place.
That is the goal.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all you're doing. We
Glad to be here.
appreciate you. And the album, once again, is called Artists United to End Poverty. You can download it on Amazon and on
iTunes. Yes.
Just making sure I said it
Not
right.
Apple
on iTunes.
Music,
yes,
iTunes.
Yes, on iTunes, Amazon and iTunes. And so make sure you check it out. It's a great way to help the community. It's a great gift. And it's a great gift to yourself because it's some fantastic music. So do check it out. That is it for this edition of Gate City Insider. I'm Rosemary Plybin. Until next time, have a great day.